One man is lost in the fog. His friend brings a torch in the night. They walk arm in arm through the dark, guided by one man's sight. One man's sight. Some cannot walk, some cannot see, some cannot speak, some cannot hear, some cannot learn, some cannot think, but all can love, and all can feel, and all can care, and all can change, and all can learn, and all can grow. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same. Two men were working the land, two farmers making their trade. And while one was blind, he was still the mind behind the world's best lemonade, his lemonade. Some cannot walk, some cannot see, some cannot speak, some cannot hear, some cannot learn, some cannot think, but all can love, and all can feel, and all can care, and all can change, and all can learn, and all can grow. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same.
The children in our country are being made to be the victim of a situation they are not involved, and then sent to a foster home where they again are reintroduced to trauma of being the odd ball. Our courts are contaminated with young, inexperienced caseworkers and polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who don't practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem. George Washington never thought of children as pawn in the game of freedom and American values, and never had he wanted to sell them. They were from his maker, his creator. Our children are being run down for no other reason than the profits being made in some way. Somehow these government agencies make money hand over fist day in and day out. They have you go to classes that they are billing for, and there is no viable reason for you to attend. Yet when you hear an update, CPS tells you that you're further away from when you started. Reunification is your goal, not theirs. And after you go through 12+ months of grueling, painstaking classes and meetings, all while getting the slimmest amount of time to visit your child, and even worst, you are always supervised. Never alone again with your child. It's awful. How do they feel, do you think?
Where's the outrage? Why is nobody standing up for these families being torn apart by CPS?
Please don't tell me you're going to put all your bets on this superhero. You grown-ups are supposed to be coming to his rescue. Stop ignoring this problem. There is nothing more I can say to any of you. please fight CPS and help those who have lost so much they can help themselves.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to 12/20/25's edition of Equal and the Same. I'm Henry Martaccio. Thank you for joining me tonight. Hello, John. Hello, Chelsea. Glad you guys could make it in. Sorry, I didn't get a chance again to start on time. Just another crazy day, like we're all having. It's even been a crazier week. But before I dive into my stuff tonight, I got some pretty crazy news on my behalf. But I would like to extend my condolences to the show. One of our co-producers, Carrie, passed away roughly a year and 2 days ago. And she was taken too early in her life. And I'm just really think we're all saddened right now on what's going on. I wish I had the pleasure to work with her, listen to her. Maybe we should have reruns come up and replay so that people can always keep her in her thoughts. And again, the movement here, we know so many people that the system forces you to turn to the dark side of life. Not the happy side of life, the dark side of life. So many people I know fall into that hole of addiction of alcohol or whatever. Even I think some people out there are on the addiction of keeping the fight going so they can have the engagement of the family. I don't know. I don't have the answers. There's so complex of a situation that I just feel that, it's sad. It's all the way around sad. Especially if you can help somebody, I'm begging you to reach out and help somebody. Don't let something take us down. Don't let something separate us. We all are carrying a bag of potatoes that we should not be carrying. And it's all because of greed. It's all because of they ain't ever going to be wrong. It's going to be because of they're just, I don't know, villains. It is literally a criminal enterprise. And why can't we call them that? The whole system that's in place right now, I believe, is a seriously unconstitutional factor of what's going on. We know it's unconstitutional when they tell a parent in family court they can't see their child. It was never established as any harm. It was never established by clear and convincing evidence, even though they say the trial might have been the whole 9 yards. So I'm just begging you just to dig in and remember it's about appeal. Keep your fight up, make a record. That's what you got to do is make the record of discrimination, and hopefully we can federally remove every case I've heard of, even though I think federal government should have jurisdiction because there's dollars like GAL dollars, like Title IV, paying for the judges. What else? You got child support. You got, the psychological evaluations if you have the good chance of getting today. Even, mandated drug testing or therapeutic reunion garbage or monitoring of your relationship. This is all incentives that they get to do. And number one thing, if you want job security, is to turn around and produce it. But hello, Brenda, my friend. I believe you are good friends with, again, Carrie. So I hope that you and Danielle and Darren, and I'm not sure about Tiffany and Gunner. I think we came in afterwards, me and Gunner, and Alicia too. She came in afterwards. But there's people like Herbert that knew her. I'm not sure if Tatiana knew her or not, but again, she was a strong person, and my condolence to you guys. Yeah. So, hey James, how are you today? Hate corruption, yeah, and judicial system. Yeah, Tennessee's pretty screwed up. I got a phone call from somebody the other day, and I couldn't even believe the story. And she didn't know what to do, and it was about making allegations, and it's like, well, why wouldn't you go down to the police department and get certified copies of everything, and of whatever you think. She thinks the house was burnt down because of crack pipes or something. And I says, well, we get the fire department report that the house burned down. What was the cause? Um, yeah, and we're gonna tomorrow. I'm gonna be very excited. I got two special guests coming on tomorrow. I decided to do a Christmas edition because we need a little bit of hope, guys. And one is an ADA advocate, and one is another person who's pretty damn good at what they do. And I'm not gonna say any more. I'm not gonna say any less. So 2 p.m. Eastern, right, Alicia? Or Allison? I'm sorry. I got a friend, Alicia, and I got you in my mind as Alicia. Does anyone ever do that, like name coordinate? Uh-oh, who's my friend coming in? Oh, they don't want to talk. Oh, they want to talk.
It's me.
Oh, hey, kiddo. How are you?
Hey, 2 p.m. Eastern, yes.
Beautiful. And I want to keep it as a surprise because, again, I don't think it's right. I talked to one person so far. I didn't get the chance to talk to the other. I would like to, just have a little bit of a talk powwow beforehand. So, yeah.
Definitely, if you have or are thinking about starting a federal case,
Tune in tomorrow.
one of the ladies tomorrow. She's
So
one.
I have to start a federal case. I guess this is a good time to drop my bombs on the week. The AC court, appellate court in the state of Connecticut, with unrefutable numbers of how wrong they are. My brief was totally solid. I even used disability training centers guidance, and I'm going to show you guys that later. But basically, they told me to pound sand. We affirm. All three judges affirm with the lower court. Now, how the hell can that even happen underneath the constitutional fact? How can that happen on administrative duties of the American Disabilities Act? How can this corruption go on? And again, it's like they just want to push you to the point that you're so buried, or you got the intelligence to know every system. Because, guys, that's what you have to know. You have to be a probate person. You have to be a paralegal. You have to be an attorney. Let it be you're in family. Let it be you're in criminal. Let it be you're in DCF. These are all specialty laws. Now we go to appeal. How many attorneys appeal their own decisions or their own cases? They don't do it. Oh, it's an appellate. That's an expertise field. And again, now we're talking federal. And, I'm always the first to say, do a removal. I've done it once, got kicked back. Well, here's my second shot at it now, guys. I'm going for a federal removal just on the appellate court because it was so egregious. And I wouldn't mind playing the argument for you guys. It's 20 minutes long and let you guys decide. I think it's a great way for us to understand what I'm talking about. And I'm going to pre-apologize because it is emotional. It is my child. It is me. It's easier for somebody to stand outside of your case and look at it. And that's where I think a support person or being like this show that we could talk about educational purposes of the law to learn and understand exactly what our rights are, because the government is not teaching us these holy grail practice books. And they are even worse is they change from state to state to state to state, but they all use the same platform of federal funding. It makes no sense how this is not a federal jurisdiction. And again, we know so many people have tried. I mean, people are talking about RICO right now. And I'm like, come on, are you serious? These are people I'm supposed to have faith in. A RICO, and I don't know if this is true or not, but under a RICO, it's about an attorney bringing it forward. And that's why the attorney makes every billable dollar he can. any time is spent. That's one case where you're in an accident. The way I understand it, a judge can say, well, how many hours did you put in? You know, and again, they could say this is what we want for cost of litigation, and where it's flexible. But under RICO, I think there's a loophole for them to have the incentive to bring the RICO forward, where if they hit the golden ticket, they get the golden pay. Basically, every hour is accountable, every research, every dollar, the whole 9 yards. So I don't know how truthful it is or not, but again, I'm getting off the tangent here of really what I want to do. So I'm going to share now. And Alicia, if you can just tell me if you hear. And again, I'm just apologize ahead of time, guys. Some people say I dropped the mic on the sons of bitches. I don't know myself, because obviously it's hard to look from the outside in or inside out. I'm going to go share. I'm going to raise this, and I'm going to hit play. Okay. Why won't it play? Is it because I'm doing the wrong thing? Minimize. Let me try this again, guys. Hide sharing. I want to go share screen. Okay, I want to go share. I want to go Windows now. Let's see what this does. Live stream. Entire screen. Chrome tabbing. Nope, that's Facebook. Go share. And I'm going to go here. And I'll hit play.
Thank you for your patience.
There we go.
We have our.
Can you hear it, Alicia?
Our last case of the morning.
Yeah.
And that's Martocchio versus Martocchio. And I apologize if I pronounce that incorrectly. It's docket number 48057. This is a hybrid hearing. This morning, I am Judge Cradle, and I am sitting with Judge Alvord and Justice Palmer. This matter will be decided based on the appellant's brief only, on the appellant's brief and the record, as the appellee did not file a brief. So the appellant will have 20 minutes for argument. I have a clock here. I'm not sure that you can see the timer, so what I will in fact do is notify you when you have 2 minutes left. I will notify you when you have 1 minute left, and then I will notify you when your time is up. Mr. Martocchio, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. So I also note for the record that there was a request for a support person, which was granted, and I don't know if that person, it appears to be present on the screen, but I don't know if that person is in fact present and can hear me, and if so, if that person could identify themselves for the record, please.
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Francesca Amato here. I'm a Forensic Americans with Disability Act advocate, and I can hear you clearly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay. And now that we have that squared away, so again, you'll have 20 minutes for argument, and you can begin that time now.
Good day, members of the committee, your honorable judges. My name is Henry Martocchio. This has been an 18-year fight on behalf of my child's needs, using programs, services, and activities of the state of Connecticut. I believe the lower court and this court has erred by not allowing this child to have meaningful access to the court program, services, and activities. It is crystal clear by other states and what other states have implemented, and I will take to my Washington sister state as being the fact of in 2006, they have given a technical guidance and publication on ensuring equal access to people with disabilities, the guidance for Washington courts. It was revised in 2011. And the crazy part of it is, Your Honors, they used Connecticut case law, Bodie versus Connecticut in 1971, as reaffirming his right. Not only that, his fundamental right since day one to access this court and get an appropriate appointment of a counsel to be able to brief on his behalf and his needs in these matters. He is separate and different from my needs, as I am a typical person and he is untypical. The court has denied, the lower courts and this court has denied even the administrative access through hearings for pretrial. At that point in time, I would have been able to actually reaffirm the ADA obligations administratively. And instead, this court's decided to place the administrative duties on the 3 panel judges, which I have no disrespect, but I'm sorry, Your Honor. Again, to my training, it violates every aspect of his needs and his rights to be participating from the second we walked into the courts and access to court services, programs, and activities. We should not be hindered to the late and wait for assignment on everything. We have previous cases at the housing court situation where even they've gone out of the way, the clerks, to appoint the Greater Hartford Legal Aid to assist in his matters. They will not go down the path that I am seeking today that is about administrative duties and compliance with the ADA and our rights to ensure effective communication and appropriate modifications, programs, services, and activities are complied with before I step into a court. I refer this court to Tennessee Lane. I will refer this court to the United States versus Georgia in 2006. I will refer this court to Pennsylvania, California, Washington, and New Mexico, which allows the picture communication system to be effectively utilized to give them an opportunity to not only have communication with the court, but whatever representing attorney would be there. It's been well known since the developmental disability rights of 2000, his legal rights to be in this court and access program services and activities. It's very upsetting to me that all state actors and state players continue to refuse this one simple request. Identify your designated responsible employee, 28 CFR 35.107. All have denied, and as I've on an open practice book, I believe it was in 2011, I addressed this issue with former Chief Justice Rogers. I am an advocate for people with disabilities, and to this day, I have seen no compliancy or no effort towards compliancy in modernizing our court systems to ensure that people with disabilities in any administrative hearing, let it be a Department of Social Services all the way down to your courts, your honorable courts. These people have a right to have their matters remedied and addressed by these courts in the same level playing field as a typical person. Again, the undue burden defense of 35.150A3 requires a written finding from the head of the public entity. And to this day, Your Honors, you guys used yourselves yesterday to deny Francesca Amata the capability to express Nathan's needs to this court in the federal rights and laws that would have given him the opportunity to brief. My sister's attorney, Attorney Guts, from day one was being CC'd on this. 9 months later, after I was in a court proceeding, which I believe is illegal to this day, because I did ask for a stay on all matters, and the same judge decided to, nah, we're going to go ahead and go forward with this no matter what. At that day, I told Attorney Guts, sir, you're a Massachusetts bar holder. You have affirmative obligations. If Connecticut's bar has not set the standards, because the only thing I can find as research is, again, in regards to Title I application. We are not employees of the state. And what kills me more, Your Honors, if you look on the ADA advisory committees that is publicly put there, I have issues with, since they have not met or published anything, and Judge Bizzuto is still the head. She's been retired on a Title I medical leave. I don't get how this is possible in this advisory committees, from what I can tell, internal or external, has not met with anyone in regards to this matter since 2009 and 2011. They also do not use the disabled community's input for effective qualifying modifications. This is not an undue burden on the court. It's not like disabilities are being invented every single day. And what is reasonable for one disability, we find commonly carries over to many other disabilities. And again, after being given a proposed modifications, then I would be able to say, well, I would think this would make better sense in this application for this child's needs to ensure a level playing field. To this date, I still have not gotten answers from nobody. Everywhere I go and everywhere I turn in this system, it's just pretty much non-compliant. That's all I can say. And I don't get how, if you are not the designated responsible employees, you hold the monetary control to correct the system once identified. To this day, in Rikers Island settlement agreement from the DOJ that was in 2004 gives the court a general idea of the affirmative obligations. But hence, since 2004, there has been a multitude of settlement agreements that reaffirms the administrative duties. When I want to get into a fact of the errors of the court, it would be the fact that, one, she said there was nothing she could do. I've given you guys the ADA training center in my brief. I believe it was 11525 that they put out a training module for people like you, because I am unable right now present to say, how have you gotten your effective training to this date if you passed the bar exam so many years ago? Things should continue as an ongoing continuing education, and it should be a mandate for attorneys. I know in Massachusetts, they've adopted a policy that part of the license fees of attorneys help to go fund a situation where there wouldn't be people like Nathan begging for pro bono or begging an attorney to represent his needs in a civil matter. This is to the point where I'm feeling today that even this hearing just unduly segregated him from this proceeding. And I really am reaffirming the fact that the lower court erred by allowing Judge Attorney Guts to make a comment in the open court. Well, he signed his name on a piece of paper. He should be able to he should be able to effectively counsel for himself. And again, I believe because he is a Title III subcontractor of the court, he is responsible, and it would be your designated responsible employee that would handle the remedy and correct the discrimination of any bar member that is discriminating in your courthouses. Never mind the fact that they do have the monetary control to cross budgetary lines and do investigations. I do not feel that this court, because Congress invoked the Department of Justice and the designated responsible employee to be the first front lines to correct the whole system since 1990. And yet today, I believe it was a report under Civil Gideon that was produced, and it was the former bar member that he ended up stating as a future reference, we need to look at the needs of the disabled. Well, I find it kind of crazy because when we were sitting here since 2004, the ADA was here before Civil Gideon, but yet nobody has addressed this issue. And I don't know how, without legislative intent, or that, again, have settlement agreements of Raymond versus Rowland, but you guys also have a settlement agreement that was signed by Martin Libben in 2003 and put a deaf person on trial without effective communication. I question, how does the court even think that the effective communication for one disability gets to be lessened for another disability? There's so many errors in this system, and I just don't even know where to begin, but I rely on my briefs that this child, upon walking into the appellate court, should have been assigned an attorney to brief on his behalf and his needs. Never mind the fact that, again, the lower court erred so hard, and she even allowed papers to be taken by a report of a town employees that did not engage me on my complaint of mold in the building. Attorney Guts misled the court, as it is fact of law that mold does not stay self-contained like lead would. I've also assisted this court with a finding that mold, and then when we look at our lower states, if you see it, we smell it, we know we have it. But instead, I have to go through a system where they're no longer appropriately trained, like the health department, to deal with these issues. I don't even get why, when the facts are that there have no effective training in Connecticut, or there has not been any update of the policies and procedures in regards to mold. And now that we've put it through the system almost 2.5 years later, the adverse effects on my lungs and his lungs and just our whole traumatization of the whole process, because it was identified in August in this frivolous next eviction attempt by my sister, that we introduced evidence on the record that these leaks are still occurring. And for me not to question the building officials or a fire marshal or a health inspector in regards to the reports and why they were misled and why they didn't address it and why they didn't do certain things in policies and procedures, is just another fact of, again, I have the right to question and cross-examine the creator of the report, because how do we know they have the qualifications to be even doing this type of work? Where did they get their effective training? Where did they get their understanding of the lead laws versus mold laws? It really is harmed us to the extent that my belief is that this court should remandate and allow the appointment of counsel, not only for Nathan, but appointment as a co-counsel for me for association rights to the disabled. This is a fact that we are both living on the edge of society, because the way the system is set up in the state of Connecticut, he cannot have more than $1,300 or $1,400 in his bank account before he loses his benefits. They do not give you gracing money to have a savings account to go out and hire a legal effective counsel. Within 2 hours, that money would be used up, because we're talking $956 a month that we are currently living on. I've called every entity, including Disability Rights of Connecticut or GAL, Greater Hartford Legal Aid, the Bar Association, Statewide Legal Services. Nobody wants to adhere to his rights and ensure that he's protected in every civil matter, to end possible discrimination, to end possible harassment, to end any other factor that a human being can walk into the courts that have effective communication and be able to argue and litigate their cases. The next factor is, as you all know, you guys are all bar members. This means you've been repeatedly tested on the qualifications of your skills, knowledge, and the whole 9 yards. This child has not seen school since the start of COVID. He has been, the facts are that his IQ level is putting him at a disadvantage to even say that he can effectively navigate your system. I find your technical barriers here today being the whole, we've been ordered to go on a Zoom meetings, but yet I've had no interaction with the court to request appropriate accommodations. We've just been ordered, straight up ordered. And I find that a huge due process violation on our behalf, because again, I do not have the rights to confront my accusers, and I do not have the rights to pull in evidence after somebody may misdo something wrong or put fraudulent evidence into the record. Ahead of time, the extent of tools that I need right now just to be able to be on this Zoom meeting puts me at such a disadvantage financially, it's not even funny. And I'm trying to stress this to the courts, that I don't even know how this hearing is taking place today when I've briefed out of my mind on the rights of this child. Now, Ms. Jakes and her attorney are a totally different subject. Ms. Jakes even wrote down in a statement to the court on the bottom of her appearance that Attorney Gus never notified her. This is the type of lies that I'm dealing with. And again, what lies were misled to these inspectors or town public health official and building department that I did not have the right to flush out because I was not included in the rights of the investigation. I am the one who filed the complaint. They have to deal with me. They cannot wait for me to leave my property and just invade my home without me being present. The errors that have occurred here are so substantial that the harms, there is no financial remedy that could ever correct this system. I'm not seeking financial remedy. I am seeking remedy of the system after 18 years of ongoing abuse from a multitude of judges and attorneys that claim they have no clue about our civil rights in the state of Connecticut. And that would be the disabled rights. And right now, I would really encourage the court to even, maybe if it's possible, I don't know because I am not a legal expert, but it makes sense to have a legal expert brief the court on their abilities. Now, Ms. Francesca Amato volunteered, and I would like to reserve some time to be able to allow her to speak on the actual constitutional rights and the rights across this country that the state of Connecticut cannot have a different opinion of their obligations because it was crystal clear in 1990.
Sir, excuse me, I just wanted to let you know you have 2 minutes remaining.
Would the court entertain as 2 minutes or giving Francesca as a reasonable accommodation to give her the reasonable ability to brief the court and be able to tell her how this obligation is an affirmative obligation on this court, but yet we cannot do it through paperwork. I cannot do it through this hearing right now. I just don't even know. It just doesn't make sense to me what is going on in the state of Connecticut because we know Pennsylvania, we know Mexico, we know California, we know Washington offers the picture communication system, but yet I am laughed at by previous ADA contact people. And what kills me the most is when you go to put a complaint in, according to your own judicial paperwork, I have to go see the EEOC. How is that possible? I'm going to the HR department.
1 minute remaining.
Florida Supreme Court has ruled that is illegal. I would close with a following statement, Your Honors. This is nothing more about administrative compliancy that is violating with the due process rights of every disabled person for the last 35 years. And I'm seeking this court to correct the system. And that starts with identification of 28 CFR 35.107, because without that, that is the only person who holds monetary control of the budget to remedy the system once discrimination is identified. I thank you, and I'm sorry for the problems I'm causing this court today, but this is a true meaning. 43% of the population has disabilities.
Okay. You have 2 seconds left, so your time is essentially up. Mr. Martuccio, we appreciate your arguments. Thank you for being present today. We will take the matter under advisement, and we will stand in recess until 2 p.m.
All right, guys. I don't know. What'd you think? It was a pretty crazy day. A lot on my mind. Wish I'm gonna have to go back and see some of your comments while it was going on. But what I wanted to show you next was, hopefully, and it pulls it up, is what I want to show you is, and I can't tell if you guys see it or not, but it's basically right here. Reasonable accommodations for civil court litigants in significant intelligence or cognitive disabilities. And cognitive disabilities, guys, can also cover post-traumatic stress. So again, The judge should also, underneath the exceptional circumstance doctrine and other fairness doctrine and rules, to guarantee due process in a civil court. This was done Wednesday, January 15th, 2025, by the Great Lakes Disability Training Center. And also the two people were Southwest ADA Center, Damaris Domingo, and Damayo Domingo, Southwest Training Center. So I was wrong, but I found it inside of the other one, the Great Lakes, which I happen to like. I like also the Southeast. I also like Washington State. I forgot what the center is called, but my center is the New England Training Center. It's really really smart for you guys to start going to look at some of these materials and handouts, and again, it would reaffirm your rights when you guys are in these courts to do what you need to do, because you clearly have to make an argument, and I'm seeing it around the country as being we're all being sent to the EEOC, which we're not human resource people. We're not there to get a benefit in employment. We don't have to tell them what we want for an accommodation because we shouldn't know what they offer for accommodations and modifications due to the disability. We don't know how their system is running. You're not an expert of the system. You're not part of the system. You don't know what grants they're running on. You don't know who's been effectively trained. You don't know anything other than you got to get into that building and you got to do something, or else they'll put you in jail. And if you fight with them, that's what seems to happen. But yeah, so it really is, sad what I'm seeing here now. And there was maybe one more thing I wanted to play. And it would be to what I feel is going on here is basically I'm gonna put hide for now. Is basically a lot of us are driven to the point of madness, and that's clearly their intent is to drive us to madness, and that's where I feel it's crazy. But I wanted to kind of like dedicate the show to Carrie, and in my state her name was Diane Harding, and she was a beautiful woman and had her kids taken from her. She was a corrections officer, little tiny little thing for a corrections officer, but she ended up hitting the booze too much and literally drank herself to death, and it's sad. It really is. So I mean, again, this is what I would probably want to say right now that's going through my mind, that it's 11 hell for all of us, and again, we have to give each other support any way we can, any place we can. Obviously, we can be here for you. And again, if I was in your shoes, I could maybe do this or do that. But we cannot be, the legal aspect of it. And I would love to see if we grow our show even more, where we can actually have these legal debates or legal examples of what people have done. So if you want to come on anytime, let me know. I'm here. But tomorrow's show is going to be a great show. And again, I would like to just share one more quick little song where this totally makes me how I feel. I question this so much. There's so many people I deal with in my own local community that, again, is dealing with addiction problems. And it's sad. I'm hoping this is the one. Nope, maybe not. I'll cancel that one. This one. There we go. Share. Let's play it up. Why is there no music? No, we need music. We need music. Where is it? There it is.
And I know you gon' run out. If you enjoying them withdrawals, life is beautiful. Think of the sequoias and the falls before you get yourself in some shit that your lawyer can't resolve. No, fuck that. I'm trying to take away the pain where the drugs at. One bag's all it take? What you want?
No,
that?
when I want an escape, take a blunt to the face. Everyone I be lacing a bump of the H, slow I'm up in the space, or I'm touching the grave. If it does, I'll be straight.
I give advice, you try to clown me. Everybody die around me. When I try to sleep at night, I still hear the siren sounding. Know you can relate. Don't take that dose, it's a mistake. That's the devil's work. Forget the perks, they only in the way.
I'm about to get to work, some meth to burn, and opiates the face.
Hey, don't you wanna go and get a bond in Suboxone? Think of all the homies we lost in the coffin.
Fuck that, no, it's on in his poppin'. Dog in my nostril, dog in my
But the
noggin.
calamities, every conviction, plus the insanity of the addiction.
I get to blaming these other civilians if they come at me with an intervention.
What's with the tension, all the hostility?
Got the extensions on the artillery.
Don't get a felony over some dumb shit, thinking you needed a drug to function. Yeah, the devil is alive and well, know that we living amongst them.
Man, you right, cause Alex was the love of my life. I was in prison when she went and did them drugs and she died. And that shit fuck with your mind, like what the fuck could I do? Her brother went inside the room and when he found her, she was blue.
I've said a bunch of goodbyes, homie, just listen, it's a blessing. You the one who survived and you ain't up in the sky. You've had some wonderful highs, it's time to leave them with the lows. Think of where you can go, plant a seed and it'll grow.
Got off the streets and off the dope, now I'm leaving it alone. I'm a Cone County's own, shining beacon of hope. I got a reason to glow, that's why I'm speaking through the music. Cause they looking at me like if he could do it, I could do it.
You could do it. One of my close homies blew his brains out, but I won't forget he called me the night before to say he's proud. He said, look man, you done made it out. Keep it together and stay the route. No reason to waver now. But who'd have known it'd be goodbye? I'm sick of all these fucking funerals and suits and ties. I'm sick of all my bros having to go before they time. Once you make it off that road, why the hell would you rewind?
Fuck reaching for the ammo, I ain't settled for that life. I was sleeping in a bando on 7 in Van Dyke. Now it's bands in the safe, 10 grand in the bank. I know it's nothing, but it's something when you come from where I came. I ain't fucking with them lames, I cut everybody off. They already showed their true colors, y'all my new brothers.
Through all of it we've been suffered, now it's time for some hope. To go in and be discovered, keep your eyes on the goal. So yo, when you feeling like you need to get a fix, practice acceptance with reflection on the reason that you quit. Reality's a bitch when you deep in the abyss, but take a leap, defeat the cycle, and then maybe you can live.
I feel like I got nobody. My dog, I used to kick it with the totem.
Well, that was it, guys. It's pretty much how I feel. You know, if there's a way to talk somebody off the shelf, man, we got to do it. We're here for each other, and you know, reach out for the holiday. Help somebody with a disability. That's all it is. It's a disability. We all got different ones, and you know, but anyone got any ideas on AC court? I'll give you the AC number, AC 48057 at Connecticut Appellate Courts, Martaccio versus Martaccio. Go look up my briefs. It's in there. I encourage everyone to go to their local ADA training center and start sifting through some of their legal courses. It's free. Yes, it's time, but you can quickly do it by just quickly looking at their PDF slides that go with it. But some of the debates that they have in here between, you know, the two training centers, and guys, they're sick of it too. They know what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on. How the system is just pocketing the money and denying people with disabilities. And worst of all, is they're attacking you for having a disability. They're using the disabilities against people to get them segregated from their kids, which is totally crazy. Because again, if you have a disability in life, your child at least gets to look up at you as the hero who's managed your life and got through it, because more than likely your disabilities are going to be your children's disabilities. I love this one. Again, everybody, you know, oh, they're in our that, oh, that one's can't control themselves or whatever it might be. Oh, this one likes to, she's bitchy, you know, whatever it is. We all pass our traits to our kids. And as a parent, we're only supposed to be instilling the morals that should be already built into their DNA. It's sad on why the government would do this for profits to so many families. We know it's part of the whole sex trade thing. I mean, God, I seen the pictures today of Bill Clinton. You know, I had 4 people jump on me because I was posting about when is it going to be time to start locking people up? And I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the actual criminals of the system, what is the RICO. And again, a criminal entity. It's an inked business. These people are could not fit the more definition. And again, I don't know what we need to do. I know it can't be done through a RICO. I heard that, again, Guantanamo Bay was going to be opened up for crimes against humanity, which, by the way, guys, I learned that the other day. That, again, I don't know what the statute number is, but it's an international law. If you discriminate against people with disabilities, and I believe that's stealing funding all the way down to maybe spitting on them, I don't care what it is, you should be charged with crimes against humanity. And that's about it. But I want to thank you. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at 2 for a Christmas show that's going to pop your mind, because we're going to go into a little bit deeper with a few people. I want to really get a little more clarity on from somebody somewhere somehow on how the ADA is not only a constitutional right, but I think it was a clarification from the original Constitution. That's how I feel. I feel it took that long of time because family had the morals to watch over somebody with a disability. Family had the morals even back then, where if your brother's wife, or your brother's died and she had a wife and 10 kids, you'd put that woman underneath your wing and treat her as a wife. I'm not talking sexual. I'm talking about caring for the family. Again, it was about keeping everything going. And as the kids got big enough to take over the homestead, they would take over the homestead as the man of the house in the whole 9 yards. But yeah. So again, John, it's crazy what's out there. It is really nuts what's going out there. But again, I want to thank everybody for joining in tonight. I hope you guys had a good listen on what's going through my crazy mind when I'm arguing the ADA. Again, they're being paid for a service that is not being implemented. How much more of a criminal crime is that? But again, see you guys tomorrow at 2. Can you take us out of here whenever you want? Because I believe coming up is Sam tonight, and she's going to have a special Christmas show, I believe, tonight. So I heard. But we'll find out what happens. Guys, Merry Christmas. You can put me in jail for saying that word. I don't care. I will say it all day long to the day I die. Thank you guys for joining in tonight. Appreciate it. See you tomorrow at 2.
One man's side. Some cannot walk, some cannot see, some cannot speak, some cannot hear, some cannot learn, some cannot think, but all can love, and all can feel, and all can care, and all can change, and all can learn, and all can grow. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same. We are equal in the same. 2 men were working the land, 2 farmers making their trade. And while one was blind, he was still the mind behind the world's best lemonade, his lemonade. Some cannot walk, some cannot see, some cannot speak, some cannot hear, some cannot learn, some cannot think, but all can love, and all can feel, and all can